Colihaut is a coastal village on the west coast of Dominica, located between the villages of Culibistri and Bioche on the shores of the Caribbean Sea. Segments 9 and 10 of the Waitikubuli National Trail and the Cachibona Lake can be found deep in the hills of Colihaut. These natural features are frequently visited by tourists and locals alike. The population of about 700 people in the parish of St. Peter earns a living through the agriculture and fisheries sectors. Residents of Colihaut have access to a primary school, sports field, preschool, post office, credit union, health center, and 4 churches. As part of government's community outreach program, in February 2012, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and members of his cabinet visited the community of Colihaut. The main purpose of the visit was to assess the living conditions of the elderly and to get a great understanding of the community on a whole. The tour also gave the Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative Honorable Ronald Toulon an opportunity to interact and dialogue with residents of that community. Primary focus was given to the growing number of elderly citizens in Colihaut. Currently, there are at least 4 residents who are a year or 2 short of being added to the long list of centenarians on the island. Government has put in place a program to assist elderly people in various parts of the community. There were a number of elderly people in Dominica who were in dire need of care and attention because family members had migrated, were unable to provide for them as a result of sickness, poverty, or unemployment, and because people simply no longer cared for their elderly. The Yes We Care program, an initiative of the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, was officially launched in 2009. The first stop on the cabinet tour was at the home of 95-year-old Gwendolyn Pascal. Mrs. Pascal lives alone and benefits from the help of a carer on a regular basis. In speaking with Mrs. Pascal, the Prime Minister, also the Minister of Finance, requested to view her monthly bills. Comparing them with her monthly income, he instantaneously approved her for compassionate allowance beginning March 2012. One resident, Angela Adams, overwhelmed with emotion upon seeing the Prime Minister walking the streets of her community, called out to him to visit her. Miss Adams, however, resides in an area that is inaccessible and by nightfall poses a serious threat to the residents in that particular area. After what seemed like an upward scramble, the Prime Minister finally made it to the home of Miss Adams. He analyzed the conditions of her environment and called on ministers to take note to have a lamppost erected near her home. Other improvements that were also suggested included painting the inside of her home, installing new doors, and a new bathroom. The Prime Minister paid a home visit to another resident of Colihaut, 92-year-old Bert Roberts, who has been blind for over 30 years. Mr. Roberts was at the time preparing his lunch. We caught up with him in his small kitchen, rolling some dumplings. Preparing his own meals and engaging in household chores is part of his daily routine. A heart-to-heart conversation between the Prime Minister and 98-year-old Hubert Philogen was very refreshing.
Mr. Prime Minister. How are you?
How is your health? How is your health?
My health? My age higher?
Right.
My age?
What's it now?
No? What's my age now? This year I'm 98 years.
98 years.
99.
How are you ready?
That's wife.
That's wife.
After, Mr. Prime Minister, after this year, sorry sir, after this year, I remain 2 years to make me the 100, okay?
You make it.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
A site visit to the Colihaut Government Primary School was also high on government's agenda. The first stop was at the school's kitchen. It is the intention of the Dominica Labour Party government that all schools would be able to participate in the school feeding program because of the many added benefits noted thus far. The school feeding program was implemented in 1991 under the United Nations World Food Program. The school feeding program was funded in its initial phase with $5.5 million for over a 4-year period. Having witnessed the benefits that derived from such a program, the government has since then been able to sustain the program. The Prime Minister and his cabinet colleagues also made a surprise visit to each of the classrooms. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit took some time to quiz the grade 6 class preparing for the National Assessment Examination.
What is the closed book exam? Alright. Who is the Prime Minister of Grenada? And who is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia? No. It is not no. Okay, so we just had elections in Jamaica and we just had elections in St. Lucia. So if there are going to be questions in the common entrance and Prime Minister of the region, they'll always ask you for the US ones. So that's your homework. Alright? Tell me, who is the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly in Dominica? Deputy, yes sir. Okay. Honorable Ronald Tula, excellent.
Improved lighting for the classrooms and the renovation of the bathroom facility were just some of the recommendations made by the Prime Minister. Over the past few years, the government of Dominica assisted with many projects at the Colihaut Government Primary School, with a new library, brand new ceiling, and a supply of materials for office cupboards. Prime Minister Skerrit says his government will continue to assist the Colihaut Government Primary School. He believes that for education in schools to be effective, the environment needs to be conducive to learning. Education has always been a priority focus for the government of Dominica, and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says his government is committed to doing all it can to provide a safe learning environment for its pupils and will be diligent in addressing the areas of concern at the Colihaut Government Primary School.
We have identified some things that need to be done there. Of course, there's the issue of the washroom that we need to look at, the issue of the painting of the school, and also assisting the facility in terms of the computer room and so forth. So we're helping them out there, and Minister is present, he's taking notes, and every minister who is there, and of course we bring some staff with us who take notes and ensure that we can follow up and follow through on some of the promises made to the people.
The cabinet ministers spent a significant amount of time walking through the Colihaut community. Some residents were just pleased to be in the company of the Prime Minister.
But I love Daddy Carol because he giving us. But yes, my son. Yes, my son. Let me take a picture. Let me take a picture of my son.
How are you? All right.
All is well.
You freaking well?
Yeah. Good. I see you doing good work, man.
Try. Easy, you try.
Yeah. I've been following. Yeah. Next calypso will be a good one.
Okay.
The Prime Minister and his cabinet colleagues met with constituents and members of the Colihaut Village Council to discuss plans for the community.
The government has to decide, look, if I have a main road to fix, do I fix the main road or do I fix the farm access road for farmers? But the people of Colihaut say that's a priority. They have said that's a priority, so we go in according to what the people of Colihaut say. You know what I'm saying? So everybody who we've spoken, not everybody, but most people we've spoken to say the feed the road, that's it. Feed the road. You know what I'm saying? And I respect very highly the advice from two of you stalwarts to the other. Yeah, well, yeah. But what you say? When we speak to the people in the country, we have to get the young fellas and everybody to go back and farm there. So we give the commitment to do the road. That's our commitment. We made a promise. We'll fulfill it and so forth.
Areas being looked into also include a community resource center. Prime Minister Skerrit, concerned about the well-being of the people of Colihaut, weighed the pros and cons of having a resource center constructed. He says the priority lies in ensuring the people of Colihaut live in adequate conditions.
That to me, speaking from as an outsider, I see it as a priority. I go on the hill there and people are, 3 families there, a man living alone in a broken down place. You have a couple living in a broken down place, anything that can come down, access to the homes. So we have to be mindful of people's needs. I mean, it makes no sense going to build a resource center for 1.3 million people home leaking.
However, the Prime Minister says prior to constructing a resource center for the community, the site will have to be properly assessed.
And of course, the major issue of the resource center here in Colihaut is a matter for them to determine the site. The original site is not a good one. The planning division they don't approve the plans for that location, and of course to ameliorate against the hazards, it will have to cost the government too much money. So clearly, the site is, from a government standpoint and financial standpoint, is away from it and so far. But this is a very important opportunity to meet the people, and this is what the government has been doing. Continue to go to various constituencies, various villages, and to go to the homes and go to the communities.
Road rehabilitation works are currently a prominent feature across the island, and the residents of Colihaut have benefited from these projects. Over the past few years, the government has ensured that the road network within the Colihaut community was of good standards. The Lord Boar Road and the Bayside Road were both rehabilitated. According to the Prime Minister, feeder roads within the community will also receive some attention.
Of course, the Farm Road, Arose and Opiton continue to be a major priority for the people in Colihaut. This is a project that the government has promised to fix. Clearly, the very long, two very long roads and so forth. And what we have agreed to with the farmers here is to do sections that are worse off. So we'll commit to that.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says his government will continue to assist in areas of concern, and measures will be taken to rectify problems that were identified in the community during the tour. Ronald Toulaw, parliamentary representative for the Colihaut constituency, says it's always a treat to have the Prime Minister visit his constituency.
It's very nice when the Prime Minister of any country can come and talk to the senior citizens, the people who help build the village, the people who help build the country by extension. And it was very, very nice. The entire cabinet was there, the team was there, the people were very, very happy. It was very successful, and it's only by doing so you can know the needs of the people. And whereas it's good to build roads and build stadiums, but it's also important to touch the people.
Honorable Toulaw says his community has in the past benefited from the generosity of the government of Dominica and will continue to do so.
I mean, most of the elderly are touched by this government, the caring government. Yes, we care is in full bloom in Colihaut.
During the Colihaut tour, the Prime Minister's compassion towards the elderly was evident. He says his government will continue to lend a helping hand to those people who have for many years contributed to the country's development.
Well, the elderly, as you know, is a very important group for us. And this is, for me, personally, it's not about politics. And so it's about we caring for people and caring for them in a manner in which you would like to be cared for if you get and when you get to the ages and so on. And these people have worked all their lives for this country, and there's no reason why the country should have them living in such terrible conditions. There's a task that we have. We need to show all the persons that we care about them. We're grateful for what they've done to us and for us and for this country. And the least we can do is to tell them that we love them and we care for them. And when I go across the country and I see the impact of the GIS UK program, people are coming in and cleaning for them, bathing them, cooking their food for them. These are people who for years never had anybody come into their homes in a consistent manner to do anything for them. People whose homes have been leaking, no access to running water, no access to electricity. We've put all those things into those homes, and this is a commitment we have. We have, as a Christian society, need to recognize our own Christian responsibilities. And it's building the road is fine, it's great. having the stadium is excellent. Building a new school is fine. Building a new bridge, sea defense wall, river defense wall, all these are important. Building the Moroccan-funded hotel in Portsmouth, 68 rooms, it will help the economy. But we can't forget these people who are in large measure voiceless and so forth, and who may not have advocates who speak on their behalf. And our grandparents and our parents, we have to care for them. And if a society fails to care for its old and its young, that society is doomed to fail. And if, as children, we fail to care for our grandparents and our parents, we will have tremendous difficulties in the future, because what goes around comes around, and you want to ensure that you play your part in a manner in which you should play your part. So our focus on these visits are the elderly, because these are the people who can't move, and who need to see us. You understand? And this is what we're saying, that the rest of the years on earth should be lived with pride and dignity and a sense of joy. And that's the least we could do to them and for them.